Hello again there, folks. Haircut here. Last time we did an investigation. Should we perhaps go over truth bullets? Sure, why not? We're heading into the class trial anyway. The victim was Sayaka Mizono. The time of death was estimated to be around 1:30 a.m. The body was discovered in Makoto's room in the dormitory. The death took place in the bathroom. The cause of death was a stab wound to the abdomen. That seemed awfully high for the abdomen. And her right wrist appears to have been fractured. Evidence of a struggle. There are numerous scratches and gouges on the bed and walls in Makoto's room. Replica sword. Makoto took this from the gym entryway and put it in his room. The sword was found out of its sheath on the floor in the middle of the room. The sword was missing some of the gold coating, as was part of the blade. Replica sword sheath. Makoto took this from the gym entryway and put it in his room. The sheath was found some distance from the sword itself and shows evidence of being scratched with a sharp object. Switching rooms. On the night of the murder, Makoto and Sayaka traded rooms and room keys. When the victim was discovered, Makoto's room key was also found in Makoto's room. Sayaka had originally asked Makoto to switch with her when someone attempted to force their way into her room, and she became frightened. Toolkit. This had been placed in Makoto's room before he arrived. It appears unopened, and there is no evidence of having ever been used. All of the other male students claim that they haven't used theirs either, but still. Makoto's room cleanliness. Not a single hair was found on the floor at the scene of the crime. In addition, the lint roller shows evidence of being used. Sayaka's wrist. Sayaka's right wrist had been fractured, and her wrist was glittery at the injury's location. In addition, her hands appeared to be completely clean except for the index finger of her left hand, which had some blood. Dying message. A series of numbers had been written in blood on Makoto's bathroom wall, 11037. It is assumed that Sayaka wrote these numbers while leaned up against the wall as she lay dying. Bathroom door frame. Makoto's bathroom door was difficult to open due to it not quite fitting in the doorframe properly. The only two people who knew the trick to opening it were Makoto and the room's owner, and Sayaka, the victim. Bathroom doorknob. Makoto's bathroom doorknob had been broken. The screws holding it in place had all been partially or completely removed. Dorm nameplates. The nameplates on the doors to Sayaka and Makoto's rooms were apparently switched at some point. Kitchen knife set. The kitchen in the dining hall has a set of kitchen knives. Apparently one of the knives had gone missing. Aoi's account. The knife in the kitchen went missing while Aoi was in the dining hall. Aoi swears that Makoto did not come into the dining hall at any point while she was there. Trash duty. There's apparently a trash room within the school. It's blocked off by a sturdy gate that can only be opened with the trash room key. Incinerator. The incinerator can be activated via a switch on the machine. Hifumi was on cleaning duty, and he claims that the last time he saw the incinerator, it was off. However, when Makoto checked it after the incident, the incinerator was, in fact, on. The distance from the gate to the incinerator is roughly 30 feet. Burnt shirt piece. A piece of burnt clothing was found next to the incinerator in the trash room. It was apparently part of a shirt cuff, and it has a noticeable bloodstain on it. Shattered crystal ball. Shards of glass were found next to the incinerator in the trash room. As it turns out, the glass ball would fit comfortably in the palm of a person's hand. And now we go through the double red doors. Luckily, a lot of the... Yeah, calm down. A lot of it is voice acted, so I don't have to talk as much. You're late, Makoto! We've all been waiting for you! I bet you were afraid you would be discovered as the murderer you are.
Listen to me!
Let's not jump to conclusions just yet. Save that for the class trial. There we can all reveal the details of Makoto's crime. So they really are convinced I did it, but I didn't do it. Me and Sayaka both know that all too well. Well, she don't know anything anymore. She did. But then, who is the killer? That's what we're here to find out. The one who murdered Sayaka. Is it really one of us? It sure is.
Is everyone here? Okay then, please board the elevator in front of you, which will transport you to the courtroom, where all your fates will be decided. I'll meet you all down there. I'll be waiting.
Woo! Let's talk, everybody. Hey, Mondo.
What?
So whoever stuck us here even took the time to set up a goddamn courtroom, huh? Yep, seems so. How you doing, Havoc? Damn, we really gotta go through this class trial thing, huh?
You know?
If you wanna confess, I guess now's the time to do it. Tell me I didn't do it. Sakura?
Hey.
There's no point in standing around. Settle your resolve and step into the future. Okay. How you doing, Taka?
Got it!
Relax, I haven't decided 100% that you're the culprit just yet. Maybe, but you're obviously leaning that way. Kyoko. Dots. Let's get started. Chihiro, I didn't want to click on that. Guess I have no choice but to get to the elevator. Unfortunate. Let us begin.
Yes, indeed.
Good idea. Dots. Are you scared? No, scared isn't quite right. I said it before, but it's up to you to uncover the mystery surrounding this case yourself. If you don't, you'll never come to grips with the truth. I need to uncover the truth of Sayaka's death. I didn't need someone else to tell me to do that. In Sayaka's honor, I swear I'll find out who the real killer is. Even if it wasn't Sayaka, you'd still have to do it anyway, my dude. You just wouldn't be so revved up, I guess. As I raised my voice to try and give myself courage, I turned, trembling with anticipation, toward the elevator. With each step forward, I could feel my heart starting to race faster and faster. Everyone else was already on the elevator. When I finally stepped on, the doors closed and the elevator started to move. That sure is what they do. The steel box descended with heavy, clunking sounds toward the school's basement. I wonder if this is how a death row inmate feels when his time has finally come. Rather than that, is it not more like a defendant waiting to receive his judgment? Oblivious to our shared anxiety, the elevator lowered us further and further into the bowels of the school. That sure is what elevators do.
You finally arrived! What do you think? Doesn't it feel like a real courtroom? It's like a Hollywood movie set, right?
Shit.
Not even close. It's total shit.
Well now.
Okay, everyone find your assigned seats and sit down.
Except there's no chairs. They're podiums.
Hurry up now, hurry up!
We did what he said and found our seats. Except they're not seats. They're podiums. The seats were arranged in a giant circle. All was set up so that everyone could see everyone else. This also meant it'd be easy for anyone to transfer their tension and unease onto anyone else, which is probably intentional. Also, there's Asahine's cleavage. The air seemed to grow heavy as we sat there. You mean stood there. And so the curtain on our first case opened. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal. Deadly! A deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly faith, a deadly class trial. Hifumi, what you so sweaty for, boy? Alright, we already looked at the, handbook. We already looked at the truth bullets. What does this do? Increase your truth bullet rate of fire. Increase during non-stop debate. Sure. the skills that we got. Why not just equip both of them, right? Alright, let's start. Trial, all rise.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate.
And the killer really is one of us, right?
Yep.
Of course.
Okay then. Everyone, close your eyes. And whoever did it, raise your hand.
Don't be a goddamn idiot. Why the hell would they raise their hand?
Before we move on and start the trial, can I ask a question real quick?
Yep.
What's going on with those pictures?
I mean, they're being included, I guess.
I'd feel awful if they got left out just because they died. Friendship penetrates even death's barrier. Friendship penetrates?
Hifumi, shut up.
Okay, but what about that other empty seat? There
Oh,
were only 15 of us to begin with, so why are there 16 seats?
Oh, no reason. It's just that our little courtroom here can technically fit up to 16 people. Okay, that about does it for the preamble. Get ready to get started.
that empty podium is foreshadowing, by the way.
First up is the case summary. Now, let the class trial begin.
It's about to begin, the debate to decide who we think the killer is. Anything I found, anything I noticed, I have to be ready to speak up about everything. Because this isn't just about me, everyone's lives are on the line. Your first non-stop debate is about to begin. Would you like to hear more? Sure. As things progress during each class trial, you will engage in a number of non-stop debates. During these discussions, characters will speak one after another without pause. It is up to you to unearth any lies or contradictions buried within their statements. What this means is that you'll have to use your truth bullets to refute what they say. Any relevant truth bullets that you have found during your investigation will be loaded into the truth cylinder. Use the mouse to aim, then fire with the left mouse button. Dots. Pay close attention to each character's statements, and use your truth bullets to blast the right ones. Note that if you run out of time, you will automatically fail, so be careful. If you press the escape key during these arguments, you can review the controls. Well then, good luck and have fun. Woo! Make your argument! Yeah, evidence of a struggle.
I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka Maizono.
Yeah, we know that part already.
And the murder took place in Makoto's room.
In the bathroom. So it seems most likely that the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom.
Okay.
She didn't even have a chance to resist.
I'll let the whole thing go first. Huh? Something's off about what was just said. If Sayaka hadn't resisted at all, there would be an there's no explanation for what happened in my room. For this first debate, we would like to take a quick sidebar. If you are unable to spot or refute someone's lies or contradictions, the argument will repeat. Within a group of statements, some words appear in a different color. Did you happen to notice? That represents a potential hole in a person's statement, a possible weak spot. Those weak spots reveal important, though not always inaccurate, sections of a person's statement. Your truth bullets are only effective against these weak spots. So when you see one come up, take aim and fire, but only if you're sure it's actually wrong. Also, you can fast forward an argument by holding the control key. Why the control key? Anyway, good luck and have fun.
I assert that the one who was murdered
And the murder took
In the
Blah, blah, blah,
bathroom.
blah,
So it seems most likely that the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom. She didn't even have a chance.
False.
No, that's wrong.
We know that's false. Break!
Just a second, Chihiro. Try to remember how my room was.
Chihiro wasn't there. Chihiro was hanging out in the gym because she felt bad leaving
The way things
Junko.
have been damaged, I think we can definitely assume there was a struggle.
A struggle? Between who and who?
Between Sayaka and the killer, of course.
So you're saying Sayaka wasn't caught by surprise in the bathroom?
She must have been attacked in the main room first. Then, she ran to the bathroom to try and hide. The killer followed her in, and that's where they finished the job.
That much should have been obvious after taking one look at the scene. It shouldn't even need explaining.
Sorry.
Yeah, Chihiro never saw the room because she never left the gym.
Okay, so what's next?
Next is the subject of the murder weapon.
Wow, this is starting to sound like a real trial.
Yes. We need to determine what was used to kill Sayaka. We know what killed her because it was still in her. We got kitchen knife set.
So what was used to kill her?
There was some kind of sharp object thrust into her stomach. Without a doubt, that is the murder weapon.
Yes.
So the killer used some random knife they had on him. How could anyone do something like that? That son of a bitch!
Because of the object that was thrust into Sayaka's stomach, it's almost certain that the knife that disappeared from a certain location.
So what was used to kill
Alright,
her?
Control.
There was some kind of without a doubt.
It's such a weird button. No. False.
No, that's wrong.
We know that's false.
No. I do think it was a knife, but not just any knife. I'm almost positive it was a kitchen knife.
Huh? A kitchen knife?
After the murder, we discovered that one of the knives from the kitchen was missing.
Which means that knife must be the murder weapon.
That is what is implied.
Oh, yeah. I guess that makes sense. You could sort of see the weapon sticking out of her stomach. And if you look real close, I could totally see that being a kitchen knife.
Yeah, that is not her abdomen. That is way too high to be abdomen. That is like just straight stomach.
Okay, so the murder weapon was a kitchen knife, but where does that get us? I mean, we all know Makoto killed her, right?
That's right. Makoto's room was the scene of the crime. What more proof do you need?
Hold on a second.
Let's draw our conclusions after we've presented our arguments. Otherwise, what's the point of the trial?
Yeah.
Well, we can talk all we want. It's not going to change that conclusion.
I don't think that's true at all. I'm sure if we keep at it, something new will reveal itself.
Yeah, the evidence will kind of point to it not being Makoto, because that's how evidence works.
You really believe that?
Shut up, Bloomin' Onion. Dots. She's right, there's gotta be a breakthrough somewhere just waiting for us to find it. Because I know damn well that I'm not the killer. You don't have it in you to murder somebody, Makoto. There's a bit more to learn about non-stop debates. Would you like to hear more? Sure. You can concentrate by holding down the spacebar. Yep, already knew that. While you're concentrating, time will slow down so you can pay closer attention to what everyone is saying. On top of that, it'll steady your aim, making it easier to target potential weak spots. Concentrating like this consumes focus gauge, and if this gauge empties, you can't concentrate. But the focus gauge will recover over time, so let your brain take rest, no need to rush. Well then, good luck and have fun. Woo! Owie's account.
So I guess there's no question that the kitchen knife was the murder weapon. But where does that get us?
Makoto must have taken it from the kitchen, right? He did it in secret, when nobody was in the dining hall. And then he went and stabbed Sayaka with it.
So he really did do it.
Yes, and it's been decided. We've reached the end.
I'm just gonna let it play through without being interrupted first. Some way to prove I didn't take the knife. The person who was in the dining hall last night should be able to do it.
So I guess there's no question that the kitchen knife was. But where does that?
Makoto must have did it in
False.
No, that's wrong.
Hula water gets to be
Okay,
useful
wait,
for once.
Hold on. I didn't take the knife from the kitchen.
Next, you're gonna say you're not the killer, right? Go ahead and say it all you want.
He will.
Well, what if I have a witness? What do you think, Hina?
Huh?
Remember what you were telling me earlier?
Well, I went to get some tea from the kitchen last night, and all the knives were still there. But when I finished my tea and went back to the kitchen to wash my glass, one of the knives was gone.
So you're saying the knife disappeared while you were drinking tea in the dining hall?
Yeah.
Just to be perfectly clear, the knife disappeared while you were in the dining hall, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And at any point while you were there, did you ever see me come into the dining hall?
No, I don't think so.
What do you mean you don't think so?
You don't think so?
No, he definitely wasn't there.
Thank you.
The knife disappeared while Hina was in the dining hall. But I wasn't there the entire time. In other words, there's no way I could have taken the knife.
Okay, then what about this? What if the idiot swimmer girl and Makoto are in on it together, and lying to protect each other?
Idiot swimmer girl?
I mean, you are the idiot swimmer girl.
Oh, and more importantly, why would I get involved in something like that?
Speaking of which, I'd like to ask the bear, if there is an accomplice, do they also become blackened?
That's a good
So
question.
you ask, and so I shall answer. Each murder is allowed to have an accomplice, but only the one who does the killing will get to graduate.
So in other words, two people can work together, but one of them has no chance of profiting from it.
Yeah, not really worth it then.
Then there's no way anyone would work together, right?
Not really, it'd be kind of a dumb idea.
But what if they did work together, and they just didn't know about the rule?
Ugh, good grief! Enough already! No, okay? There are no accomplices in this case! Oops! Did I say that out loud?
Anyway, I didn't go to the dining hall, and I didn't take the knife.
Monokuma will always happily interject to clear up any misgivings, as long as it keeps the trial going smoothly.
So I'm not the killer.
Okay, so then, who did take the knife?
Who
Hina
knows?
seems the obvious candidate. After all, she just said she was in the dining hall. No way! I swear it wasn't me!
Sure, but can you or anyone else prove that? I can.
Oh, hey, Sakura.
That's right! Sakura was with me the entire time I was drinking my tea.
I hate to have to ask, but just to be sure, Sakura's...
How do you not know?
Right.
But then, couldn't either one of them have grabbed the knife?
Actually, no. Because, well,
Just spit it out already.
I stayed in Hina's room last night.
I got so scared thanks to those creepy videos. I wasn't really thinking, I just asked her to stay over. Which means we have airtight alibis.
So you say, but nobody saw you together, so not really airtight.
You stayed over? Doesn't that violate one of the school regulations?
We're not allowed to sleep anywhere but the dorms, but it doesn't say we have to stay in our assigned room.
Yep.
So, I don't think that's a problem.
It is a problem! A boy and a girl spending the night together? It's unwholesome!
But I'm a girl.
Whoops.
You are? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry!
Oh, Taka.
But if it wasn't either of you, then what other possibility is there?
Actually, there is one other possibility. Right, Hina?
Oh, yeah, that's true! One other person did come to the dining hall while we were there.
Why didn't you say so in the first place?
Because it's Hina. She doesn't have a brain.
Well, because they're not here anymore.
That's still relevant information, whether they're here or not, regardless. Someone who's not here? Are you talking about?
Sayaka. She's the one who came to the dining hall. And then later, she wound up dead.
Sayaka? Okay, so the person who took the knife from the kitchen was Sayaka.
Then, Sayaka is the one who took the knife?
Yep.
That's the only possibility. And thinking back on it, she was acting kind of unusual. When she came into the dining hall, she didn't even look at us. She just went straight to the kitchen. As she left, she said she just wanted a drink of water. But most likely...
And the person who took the knife was the victim herself.
I'm sure she just took it for self-defense.
So you're saying the knife she took was then taken from her, and she was killed with it?
Yep.
In that case, you may not have taken the knife, but you still could have killed her.
What?
Gasp.
See? He did do it after all.
Hey, Toko.
No, you're wrong.
So, that's how you would twist the argument and send us all off in the wrong direction? You possess a most terrifying talent.
Makoto's talent is not having talent. Damn, if I don't do something, they're gonna blame me for the murder. Don't they understand? If they convict me, everyone's gonna die.
It's still too early to decide conclusively that Makoto is the killer, wouldn't you say? Because you see, if the room did belong to the killer, then they did something most bewildering. And until we unravel that little mystery, you simply can't declare that he's the killer.
Bewildering? What the hell are you talking about?
I know what she's talking
Something was
about.
missing from the scene of the crime that by all rights should have been there. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Your first Hangman's Gambit is about to begin. Would you like to hear more? Sure. As things advance further in the class trial, the Hangman's Gambit will eventually take place. The point of this is to reveal an important phrase related to the incident in question. You'll have to deduce the phrase from the letters flying around and the letters already known. Complete the phrase by shooting down the flying letters in the right order. Use the mouse to aim, and the left mouse button to shoot desired letters, dots. If you shoot down the wrong letters, you'll suffer damage to your influence gauge. If this gauge reaches 0, you will run out of time, you fail. Or you run out of time, you fail. Well then, good luck and have fun. Something that should have been at the scene but wasn't. That must be a crucial point. If we can figure out what that something is... H and I. We already know what it is from the lint roller.
Now I understand. That's right. There wasn't a single hair on the floor.
So, the culprit removed some evidence?
Yes. And if I were the culprit, why would I need to get rid of all the hair in my own room? It wouldn't be unusual at all to find my hair at the crime scene if the crime scene is in my room.
The reason all the hair was gone was to remove any trace that Sayaka had ever been there.
That doesn't make sense.
That makes sense, does it not?
No.
No. If that were the case, they would have had to do something about the body itself, not just her hair.
Yes, very true, very true.
Okay, then why wasn't there any hair on the ground?
That's the question, isn't it, Leon?
The killer got rid of it all, of course, to remove any trace that they had ever been there.
Wait, then that means...
Precisely. It's simply beyond reason to believe that the room's owner and the killer are one and the same.
Then, Makoto isn't the culprit?
Are you sure we can decide something so important based solely on the absence of some hair?
I mean, it's very much one of those, why would he do that?
No. There are other reasons that prove why Makoto couldn't have done it.
I would like to hear these reasons.
Do you remember anything remarkable about the bathroom at the scene? Sayaka was attacked in the main room first, then fled into the bathroom, right?
Yeah, then they ran after her, got into the bathroom, and stabbed her.
And how did the killer get into the bathroom? Did they have any trouble with it?
What do you mean?
It's fairly certain that the killer had some trouble getting into the bathroom. There was clear evidence left behind. Do you remember, Makoto?
I sure do. Killer struggled getting into the bathroom, and the evidence that proves it is the object the killer broke. Where's the door handle? Here it is. Doorknob, excuse me.
I got it!
Doorknob!
Evidence that the killer had trouble getting into the bathroom. You're talking about the doorknob, right?
Huh? The doorknob? What doorknob?
Are you paying attention? Probably not.
The doorknob for my bathroom. It was completely broken. See how the top part was unscrewed? And the doorknob's about ready to fall off?
Oh yeah, true. But what does it mean?
In trying to bypass the lock, they ended up nearly removing the entire doorknob. This is another most bewildering act for the room's owner. It proves Makoto is beyond suspicion.
So what? You're saying he wouldn't break the door in his own room? But if the only choice you have is to break it, you break it. There's nothing bewildering about it.
Okay.
You still don't see? Okay then. Let's take another look at how the incident unfolded. Hopefully that will help you understand.
Kyoko said it was a bewildering act. I almost didn't notice it at first, but is that the key point here? There's a bit more to learn about non-stop debates. Would you like to hear more? Sure. From here on out, the number of weak spots will start going up. But no matter how many weak spots, there's essentially only one lie or contradiction in this debate. What I'm trying to say is not all weak spots you see are necessarily false. Use a truth bullet on the wrong one, and not only will you fail to refute what they said, but you'll lower your trust with everyone, and your influence gauge will take damage. Now, this is important because if your influence gauge reaches 0, you fail. You'll have to rely on your own logic to determine which weak spots are actually lies or contradictions. Well then, good luck and have fun. Whee! Bathroom door frame.
The incident took place in Makoto's room. Sayaka was first attacked in the main room.
We know that's true.
She then fled into the bathroom.
Then the killer ran after her. And they got into the bathroom.
At that point, the killer had to try and bust down the door, because Sayaka had locked it.
And finally, the culprit had Sayaka cornered.
And to finish the job, they stabbed her with the kitchen knife.
It was you, wasn't it, Makoto? Admit it. We already know the answer.
Like I said, I'm letting the whole thing go through first. It's not because the door was locked. No, there's an entirely different reason.
The incident took place in the Sayaka was first. She then fled into the.
Then the killer ran and they got into the back. At that point, the killer.
Because Sayaka had locked it.
False.
No, it's wrong.
You can't lock it. It's the boys' room. There is no lock. Can't lock a lock that's not there.
Open wasn't because it was locked. After all, the girls' rooms are the only ones with walking bathrooms, right?
Yes, now that you mention it, that is true.
Then why didn't your bathroom door open?
Because it was stuck.
His door is wonky.
Huh? What are you talking about? My bathroom door doesn't fit in the frame quite right. Monokuma over there can testify to that.
Yup, true as true can be. But you know, you're supposed to be the ultimate lucky student, right? But to have such a cruddy door...
We've been over this though, Monokuma. Do you just want to, like, bring it up because everybody's here?
That's not lucky at all!
So the reason the door didn't open was just because it was stuck. But the killer didn't know that and assumed it was locked. So they tore apart the doorknob to get in.
Okay, but then why would the killer even think the door was locked in the first place? Everyone should have known you can't lock any of the boys' bathrooms.
Because they weren't aware that it was a boys' room.
The killer could easily make that mistake, thanks to one important detail about the scene of the crime.
Killer was convinced that the bathroom door was locked, so they didn't know that the door actually couldn't be locked. In other words, the important detail about the scene of the crime they didn't know was... They didn't know that the crime took place in my room, I think.
I got it!
It was just the phrasing.
I realized that it was my room.
What? Are you saying the culprit didn't even know where he was? That's inconceivable!
And yet, he's absolutely right.
Say what?
Shut up,
Well,
Hifumi.
to be more specific, what the killer didn't know was that Makoto and Sayaka had switched rooms, which is what led to the misunderstanding about the bathroom. If Sayaka had been in her own room, then...
She would have been able to lock the door.
Then there would have been a lock on the door, and they would have had to break through.
So they had no idea how unnecessary their actions were.
Ultimately, we can't know if it came open by force or simply by accident. But...
I mean, the fact that the doorknob was being unscrewed kind of shows that it was not an accident.
the killer must have been considerably confused, with no idea how they actually got the door opened.
Regardless, it was a pointless act. Wasting time trying to break down a door that wasn't locked is...
Definitely something I wouldn't do, since I would have known exactly why it wasn't opening, right?
Yep, another one of those, but if I was the killer, then why would I have done that?
That is a definite possibility.
So the killer would have to be someone who didn't know they'd switched rooms?
Yes.
Then Makoto couldn't have done it.
Yes. That's what I've been trying to tell you.
Okay, then who did do it?
That's what we're trying to find out, Mondo. Calm down.
I'm sorry, but I give up. Quit without saving.
Shut up, nerd.
But what happens if we can't decide on who we think did it?
Well, why don't we just vote right now? Majority rules.
Why would you even suggest that?
Majority rules? You really think that's a good idea?
Yeah, our necks are on the line here. Someone seriously needs to do something. For serious.
For real.
Does no one have any other thoughts or questions? It does not matter how trivial they may seem.
I mean, we still got a lot of truth and bullets to go through.
Oh, as a matter of fact, I do have one question.
Oh, you...
You don't gotta sound so disappointed.
But your brain is pool water, of course she's disappointed.
It's fine, it's fine. Just ask your question.
Oh yeah. Okay, so, well, I was just wondering, how did the culprit get into Makoto's room in the first place?
Yep, that's a big question too, isn't it?
Yes. How did the killer get inside?
Maybe Sayaka just dropped the key somewhere and the culprit picked it up. That's possible, right?
I don't think so. That seems way too convenient.
Yeah.
Then, maybe someone picked the lock?
But we can't do that. Monokuma said that they are unpickable.
Negative! If you remember, Monokuma made it quite clear that the locks are all unpickable.
Yep.
Fine. How about this? The killer got in the easy way. They could have knocked and said they wanted to talk or something, and Miss Maizono just let him in.
Like an idiot.
No, that can't be it either.
Oh, trying to argue against me? Sounds like someone doesn't know his place.
Hifumi, your place is literally on the bottom of someone's boot. So shut up.
Hello? Why exactly can't that be it?
Because she asked me to do something in particular because of how frightened she was. That's the answer right there. There's no way Sayaka would let someone in because... Was it this one? Sayaka originally asked... I think it's probably that. Oh, yeah, well, I misclicked anyway.
Sayaka was already scared, remember? That's why she asked me to switch rooms in the first place.
Same goes for you, Sayaka. No matter who it is, don't open your door for anyone.
Even if I'm sure it's you, I absolutely won't open it. Otherwise, what's the point of even switching?
Knowing what she'd been through, I just can't believe she would have opened the door for anyone.
What if her being scared was a lie?
Huh?
Dun dun dun!
Well, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Why would she lie about something like that?
Because you're easy to manipulate.
I know you don't want to consider it, but look at this and tell me. Can you still deny the possibility?
There's something I want to talk to you about, just the two of us. In 5 minutes, come see me in my room, Sayaka. Check the nameplates to make sure you don't get the wrong room, okay?
I found a notepad during my search, and I shaded in the top sheet with a pencil, and these are the words that appeared.
Oh man! I've totally seen people do that on detective shows.
Good for you.
When you write, it can leave an imprint. Sketch over the next sheet of paper, and you can see the words. When I saw that, I was like, holy crap! I'd better make sure I rip the paper out before I use it from now on.
Good for you?
It's a pretty old-fashioned technique, but even the classics can be surprisingly useful sometimes. Oh, and I should also mention, I found the notepad on the desk in Makoto's room.
Huh?
Gasp.
Which means only someone who had been in Makoto's room before the incident could have written it.
Then either it was Makoto who lived there, or Sayaka who switched rooms for a single night.
So, Makoto, did you write this?
No, I didn't.
But of course you didn't. Because the note also bears a perfectly legible signature. Sayaka's signature.
Then that note, Sayaka wrote it?
But why? Why would she write that?
The note was likely her way of getting in touch with a certain someone. She must have slid it under their door to let them know she wanted to meet with them in secret.
If you got an invitation like that from the ultimate pop sensation, what young man could resist?
You feel me? Now is really not the time.
Of course, I'm only into 2D, so it wouldn't have any effect on me.
Nobody asked you.
But can we be sure anyone even got this note? And honestly, even if they did, I do not think they are at all involved in what happened.
Huh? What makes you say that?
Would you like to hear what I have to say?
Yes.
Very well then. Pay attention.
Back to non-stop debate. Dorm nameplates.
Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct? But in the note, the place they were asked to come to, it specifically says, my room.
I see. So if someone read that note, then they would have gone to Sayaka's room.
Exactly. The room that Makoto was staying in. So in other words, even if someone did read the note and did what it said, they would not have any connection to what happened.
It certainly would seem that way.
I absolutely love how Celeste says Makoto's room, because she's just like Makoto. I don't know why, I always love how she pronounces it. Oops. Killer went into my room instead of Sayaka's, and the reason for that is... it has to be because of what got switched between my and Sayaka's rooms.
Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct? But in the note, it specifically says,
my room.
Is it that one?
See, then they would have gone exactly.
Wrong.
No, that's wrong. The nameplates on Mai and Sayaka's rooms got switched.
They got switched?
Yes.
That's right. The nameplates got switched, just like the rooms themselves. As a result, the nameplate on Sayaka's room actually had Makoto's name. And the nameplate on Makoto's room had Sayaka's.
So what you're saying is, the room Sayaka was staying in was actually marked as her room.
Then, if someone did do what the note said, they would end up at Makoto's room where Sayaka was.
Yep.
Plus, their rooms are right next to each other, so switching the nameplates would be no problem.
And it's not like unless you visited there a lot, you would even notice.
And the one who switched the names was... well, of course it wasn't you, right, Makoto?
Right?
Okay, then who did it?
There's only one person who could have switched the nameplates. The only person who knew we had switched rooms was Sayaka.
Me and Sayaka were the only ones who ever knew about us switching rooms. So the only other person besides me who would even know to switch the nameplates was Sayaka.
You can also infer as much from her note.
Something I want to talk to you about, just the two of us. In 5 minutes, come see me in my room. Check the nameplates to make sure you don't get the wrong room, okay?
She specifically tells the reader to check the nameplate. She would only have written that if she knew the nameplates had been switched.
But why would she switch them in the first place?
That's the question, isn't it, Chihiro?
She wanted someone to come to the room she was in, and also hide the fact that it was Makoto's room.
What?
Inviting someone to your room, but not telling them you've switched rooms. Why would anyone do that?
To understand that, we first need to understand what happened after she invited the person into the room. That's where the answer lies.
What happened then was probably whoever she invited over came in and attacked her. We figured it out! We know Who did it? Whoever she invited over is the culprit!
Great deduction, Taka.
But we still don't know who it is, you goddamn idiot!
Sayaka fought with her killer there in the room, yes? Perhaps the answer to our previous question lies in that initial struggle.
Yes, I think you're right.
Then... we just have to figure out what happened during the fight, right?
That reminds me. There was a replica sword at the murder scene. Was that perhaps used during the fight?
I think that's assumed.
Oh yeah. What's the deal with that sword?
Sayaka suggested I should hold on to it. I thought it might come in handy if I had to defend myself. It seems pretty likely that the killer used it to break Sayaka's right wrist.
How the hell could you possibly know that's what broke her wrist?
Did you not read any of the... I wouldn't be surprised it's Leon. He didn't read any of the frickin' files. He was probably just like, whatever, I want to take a nap. The reason I know Sayaka's wrist was broken with the fake sword is because when you look at her wrist, there is no doubt. Sayaka's wrist.
I got it! All you have to do is take a good look at her broken wrist, and it should become pretty clear. Right there where her wrist is all swollen. There's something glittery there. See?
Is that gold?
Yep.
It sure is. Specifically, the gold coating from the replica sword. You barely have to touch that stuff, and it'll stick right to you. And there's some on her wrist because...
I got it! Because she got hit with the sword! Right there on her wrist!
Yep.
I see. And so the truth draws ever closer.
Not surprising, since it's a replica sword, it would probably be too blunt. It would not be sharp enough to actually, like, cut. It would be more like getting hit with a stick.
Alright, then it's about time to solve this mystery.
What happened in my room? And what led to Sayaka's death? That's what we need to make clear. There's a bit more to learn about non-stop debates. Would you like to hear more? Absolutely! Are you getting used to these non-stop debates? Starting with the next debate, you'll start loading multiple truth bullets into your truth cylinder. But just like with the weak spots, only one of those bullets can actually refute the proper statement. In other words, from here on out, you'll have to combine the right truth bullets with the right weak spots to refute each statement. If you come up with the wrong combination, you'll take damage to your influence gauge. You can press Q. I guess that's fine, because it's close to the WASD. You press Q to rotate the cylinder and choose which bullet to fire. Press and release the Q to cycle through each bullet, or you can use the mouse wheel, which I'm gonna do, because that's easier. By the way, if the logic difficulty is set to kind, fewer bullets will be loaded into the cylinder. For our purpose this time, the logic difficulty will be set to mean. I think I just had it as normal. Well then, good luck and have fun. Replica sword sheath, kitchen knife set, and replica sword. Well, we know the kitchen knife set is not relevant.
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. The sword-based sneak attack.
And that's what broke Miss Maizono's wrist.
So, she tried to fight back. She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away. But then the culprit took that from her too.
And they killed her with it.
And that's exactly what happened.
You sure about that, Hagakure? The person with the sword really did attack first. There's no explanation for how a certain part of the sword got damaged. So I guess we're using the sheath.
The culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first sword-based sneak
False.
attack.
No, it's wrong. Actually, no. I don't think the fight started with the sword.
Why not?
We got two people who don't have a brain. Instead, Hagakure's is replaced with Bloomin' Onion, because that's why his hair is like that, and Hina's is replaced with pool water.
Because the sword sheath had been scratched. See? There's a gash in it. Like someone cut into it with something sharp.
Something sharp? You mean like the kitchen knife? That was the only sharp thing found at the scene.
Yep.
Stop jumping ahead. Slow down and explain it so I get what the hell's going on.
Shut up and explain it to me like I'm 5.
If the sword was used first, there wouldn't be any explanation for the scratch on the sheath.
At least Mondo is fully willing to admit, hey, I'm not smart. You need to, like, dumb this down for me, please.
If you are going to attack with the sword, you'd take it out of the sheath first, right?
That's true. With the sheath on, it'd be heavy and bulky and useless as shit.
I mean, you can still hit people with it like a stick, but that kind of defeats the purpose of a sword.
Okay, so how did the sheath get damaged?
That's the question, isn't it, Hifumi?
If they got attacked with the kitchen knife, maybe they grabbed the sword as a defensive impulse. In that situation, there wouldn't be any time to actually unsheath the sword.
So you're saying the sword was initially used to defend against an attack from the knife?
Which means whoever had the kitchen knife was the one who attacked first.
I think I get it. So here's how it all played out.
Explain it to us, Taka.
The culprit came in, found the kitchen knife hidden there somewhere. Then they took the knife and attacked Sayaka before she knew what was happening. So she grabbed the sword to defend herself. But then the culprit took that from her too. Then, after they broke her wrist with the sword, they took the knife and finished it.
Yeah, there's a problem with that.
Sorry, but I don't think Sayaka used the sword to defend herself.
What? How the hell can you not think that?
Because she never held the sword at all. There's a certain part of her body that makes this clear.
Yeah, Makoto already kind of mentioned that you barely have to touch that frickin' sword to be covered in its glitter. Part of her body that shows she never used the sword. If you wanted to use the sword, which part of your body would have to touch it? Her palms!
You're talking about her palms, right?
Clearly, you're going to hold your sword in your mouth and wield it that way. Or if you really want to be a dumb anime character, you wield it with your butt cheeks. You're talking about her palms, right? Oh, I don't have to read.
The palms of her hands were perfectly clean, so I don't think she ever picked up the sword.
How can you know that just by looking at her palms?
Were you not listening?
Like I said before, the gold coating on that sword comes right off. All you have to do is touch it. In fact, if you look, you'll notice that a lot of the gold has already come off the handle. It's safe to assume that's because whoever used the sword got some of it on their hands. There's really no way she could have picked it up and come away completely clean.
Maybe she washed her hands after she escaped into the bathroom.
Why would you do that if you're being pursued by a murderer, though?
Sorry, but I don't think so.
Oh no! I'm gonna get killed! I'm in a hiding spot! Let me wash my hands really quick before they try to bust in the door!
Why do you say that? Is it because you think I'm ugly?
Taco...
No, that's not it at all.
There's no way Sayaka washed the gold coating off of her hands because there's a certain regulation that talks about what happens to the bathroom at night. Oh yeah, the water was off.
I got it!
She's afraid of water!
According to the Monokuma file, Sayaka's time of death was around 1:30 a.m.
Oh, that sucks. What if you, like... What if you just need to wash your hands in the middle of the night? Like, not too long ago, I woke up with a freaking, like, nosebleed for some reason, and I got a little bit of blood on my hand. What if you wanted to wash your hands? That sucks.
In other words, at nighttime. And the water in the bathroom shuts off at nighttime, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. Actually, I haven't taken a shower.
It's so quiet. She said I actually hadn't taken a shower here yet.
Oh my.
It's not your business, Hifumi.
You're no different. You smell like a big, fat, ugly donkey.
One, donkeys are cute. Two, Hifumi's very sweaty, so he probably does stink.
I'm not sure whether to take that as an insult or a compliment.
An insult, obviously.
Yeah, how would that be misconstrued as a compliment?
So anyway, if Sayaka never touched the sword, then that means the killer is the only one who used the sword. But hold on. If that's right, then the one who damaged the sheath with the kitchen knife was...
The one who damaged the sheath would have had to have been the one without the sword. Sayaka.
Sayaka? She had the kitchen knife?
She was also the only one who could have taken it in the first place.
But we already said that the attack started with...
The one who had the kitchen
The
knife.
person with the knife attacked first, and the sword was used as an impromptu defense.
Then the one who attacked first was...
Sayaka.
Sayaka?
Now do you understand? She wasn't a blameless victim in this.
No, far from it. It's almost as if she'd been planning to commit a murder of her own.
What?
Took the knife from the kitchen, then invited the culprit to the room she was staying in. And if it's true that she had the kitchen knife and attacked without provocation...
Indeed. These are all the actions of an assailant.
Which brings up another point. Makoto, Sayaka was the one who suggested you two switch rooms, correct? Maybe the reason she wanted to switch rooms
Wasn't because she was scared.
so that she could pin the crime on you. That is a possibility, is it not?
Sure is.
Sayaka wanted to... on me?
On me? Dots.
That would also explain why she would switch the nameplates. She wanted to get whoever she had targeted to come to Makoto's room, where she was staying. And by committing the murder there, instead of her room, that could implicate Makoto.
Makoto. Like I said, I really love how she says Makoto's name.
But for that to work, the target had to be lured out, while still keeping the room swap a secret. If the target knew she had switched rooms, they would have become suspicious right away.
So all that's why she switched the names?
But doesn't that plan seem a little risky?
I mean, trying to commit murder in general is kind of risky, don't you think?
For one thing, even if her plan worked, Mr. Naegi would just tell everyone they'd switched rooms.
I don't know. I'm not sure our soft-hearted Makoto is capable of that kind of cutthroat behavior.
Yeah, she knew he was easy to manipulate.
I'm sure Sayaka realized the same thing, which is why out of all of us, she asked him to switch rooms.
Dots.
Plus, she was the ultimate pop sensation. A totally forgettable kid. Or a national superstar. Who are you more likely to believe?
Wait, then you're saying she had this all planned out?
That is what it seems.
Holy shit!
But in the end, her plan backfired.
What is the song I'm thinking of? It's by Mindless Self-Indulgence, and that's basically just the chorus. Just holy shit!
She launched her attack with the knife, then found herself under attack in turn. That must be when her wrist got broken, and she was forced to drop the knife.
The tables were suddenly turned on her, and she died at the hands of the one she'd planned to murder.
Just hold on! That can't be true!
Why not?
Because...
Hey! You guys have totally derailed the argument.
Have we?
You're being super boring right now. Come on, hurry up and decide who did it. Wouldn't it be awful if I had to punish you all just because you ran out of time?
Oh yeah, we gotta decide who we think did it.
Dots.
Makoto, right now you just need to concentrate on figuring out the answer to this mystery. If we can't uncover who murdered Sayaka, it's over for all of us.
Is it really all over? Obviously, I'm committed to finding out who killed her, but what can I do? Bro, we haven't gone through all the truth bullets. I mean, as far as clues go, there's nothing left. False. Blatantly false. Dying message.
It's easy just to say, hey, decide who did it. But there just aren't any more clues, right?
Very well. Then let's review all the clues we've found up to this point one more time.
Do we really have time for all that?
Die! If we don't do something, we're all gonna die!
That is correct, Toko. Still one clue left, I'm sure of it. Sayaka left it on the wall that she was leaning up against.
It's easy just to say, hey, decide who did it, but there just aren't any more clues.
False.
No, it's wrong.
We have truth bullets left. We're not done yet.
There still might be one clue left. Sayaka's dying message.
Dining? Wait, what did you say?
Stupid.
The dying message. She wrote something on the wall behind her, remember?
Yes, the dining message.
11037. Written in her own blood. There must be a clue about the killer hidden in there.
Well, before we get too far into that, I need to ask, can we really be sure that Sayaka is the one who wrote it?
There's no question that Sayaka wrote that message, and I can prove it. Left index finger, right? Well, that's the only thing with the finger.
Her left index finger had blood on it. That could only be because she used that finger to write the message.
I see. She broke her right wrist during the fight, so she'd have to use her left hand to write.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. For some reason, I was like, I don't think she's left-handed this whole time. I can't imagine trying to write with a broken wrist.
Sure, I think we can all agree Sayaka wrote it. But still, what the heck do those numbers mean? 11037?
I mean, if you look at it close enough, then you can kind of figure out what it is.
Hey, Chihiro. You're a computer nerd or whatever, right? You should know all about numbers and shit.
You're a computer nerd or whatever.
No, that's not... Yes, I'm a programmer, but I don't see any kind of meaning in these numbers.
Of course. It's because they're not numbers.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, it looks like...
Huh? What?
No, it's just... look at the numbers, assuming they're not numbers. Don't these first two, 1-1, look less like two numbers and more like one letter?
Yep.
Ah, you're right. The connecting line is barely there, so I assumed it was 1-1, but... Looking at it now, you could also read it as an N.
It is an N. So now you know what that word is.
Oh, you might have finally just said something worth a shit.
Our little gray cells are really getting excited now.
Well, I guess you do have to do something mentally stimulating every once in a while, and I don't mean from your I don't mean your usual activities. Because your brain's not what's being stimulated.
But even if that really is an N037, doesn't make any more sense than before.
Because they're not numbers. Damn it, it's no use. I just don't know. It's because Makoto's dumb.
Rotate
Dots.
the image 180 degrees.
Yeah, flip it. Huh? Rotate it? I think maybe I can see something.
Oh my god. Now I see. She wrote down the killer's name.
Yep.
Huh? You just shot past the clue part and right onto who did it.
No.
So, whose name did she write?
Y'all have eyes. Sayaka's dying message reveals the real killer's name. If you turn her message 180 degrees, it should become crystal clear. Select someone. There's only one person who has 4 letters. Where are you? There he is.
Here's my answer.
Here's my answer.
The key to solving this mystery was simply to rotate the writing 180 degrees. If you turn the message around, it becomes the letters L-E-O-N. L-E-O-N. Or more accurately, Leon.
Dun-dun-dun.
What the hell are you talking about? It's just a coincidence.
How is it a coincidence, my dude?
It's just a bunch of random squiggles that happen to look like my name.
No, it's not random at all.
That would be quite the coincidence.
She wrote that message on the wall behind her as she was leaning up against it. In that position, she couldn't move to write normally, and had to write upside down, as it were. And as a result, when you look at it standing in front of her, it ends up getting flipped. Try it for yourself if you want. Write something sitting like her, and the letters will be inverted.
Yeah, because trying to write something like that upside down while you're in a sheer panic would not compute in your brain. You would wind up writing it upside down because that's how your hand would instinctively move.
That sounds like one hell of a stretch to me.
It's really not.
I'm the killer? You can't just go and say shit like that.
If you're not the killer, then why did you try to destroy the evidence?
Huh?
Huh?
You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The evidence Leon tried to get rid of?
Yep. The evidence that Leon tried to get rid of. That's the thing I found on the ground in front of the incinerator, right? Sure is. Burnt shirt piece.
I got it! You mean The burnt shirt piece I found laying on the ground by the incinerator, right?
As the killer stabbed Sayaka, they must have gotten some of her blood on them.
I mean, that's usually what happens.
And to dispose of the shirt covered in the victim's blood, they threw it into the incinerator.
But one piece burned off and got left behind.
And the killer didn't notice. If they had, they most certainly would have panicked. Isn't that right, Leon?
But is one scrap of fabric enough to conclude that Leon is guilty?
Yeah, I mean, Leon's not the only one wearing a white button-up.
That is true.
That's right. There are plenty of other people here with shirts like mine. With just that one little charred piece, there's no way you can say for sure who it belongs to.
You're right. That alone isn't enough. But there are some other points that may reveal the truth.
Are you finally starting to understand? The answers to all the riddles are right here.
Yeah, I think so.
The burnt remains of the button-up shirt, which the killer wasn't able to get rid of. There's something about it that we need to pay attention to in order to figure out who's responsible. I guess where? I guess not, apparently. It was how. Shirt was destroyed, we can focus on who the killer was. Where it was destroyed? Wait, are you talking about the trash incinerator, right? How the fuck's that supposed to make anything clearer? Looks like I embarrassed myself in front of everyone. Okay, fine, it's not that, it's... how? How?
I got it! If you look closely at how the shirt was disposed of, we should be able to figure out who the killer is.
I mean, where sounded like it would have worked perfectly fine too, but what the hell do I know?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I think I know what you're gonna say. You can't reach the incinerator without opening the gate in front of the trash room, right? And obviously, you wouldn't be able to hit the switch to turn it on either. You need the key to get in, and the one with the key was the person on cleaning duty. So the killer had to be whoever was in charge of taking care of the trash, right?
Interesting.
Good job, Hifumi. No, that's wrong. There's another way to use the incinerator without being the one on cleaning duty. That's exactly what proves that Leon is the real killer. More non-stop debate. Shattered crystal ball.
The key to the trash room. Whoever was on cleaning duty must have had it, right?
So the only one who could get to the incinerator was the person in charge of the trash?
And you'd have to get close to the incinerator in order to destroy the evidence. Which means the only possible suspect is whoever had the trash room key.
Okay, so the person who would have had the trash room key was... Huh? Me?
Good job, Hifumi. Why are you stupid? There absolutely was a way to use the incinerator without using the trash room key. The killer was able to turn the incinerator on by using something I found on the ground nearby.
The key to the trash, whoever was on...
So the only one is the person who...
And you'd have to get close to the incinerator.
Why are you so big mad?
No, it's wrong. Hold on. I think I know how someone could dispose of the evidence without using the trash room key.
Yep.
But if you can't get past the gate, you couldn't possibly turn on the incinerator, could you?
That's what you would think.
Yes, you could. If you used this.
What is it, some kind of glass ball? It's busted to hell.
Sure is.
Actually, it was supposed to be a crystal ball, but,
I got scammed.
But how would you use it?
The killer had to use the crystal ball in a certain way, which was throw it divine with it.
The killer simply took aim at the incinerator switch and threw the ball through a gap in the gate. All they had to do was hit that switch, and the incinerator would come to life.
Someone threw a gap in the gate?
Yep.
Remember what you said before, Hifumi?
Haha! Someone turned on the incinerator. Very strange. I'm quite certain it was off the last time I was down here. Perhaps it's the work of a fairy.
Hifumi had the key. So the only way the incinerator could have been turned on without his knowledge was because the killer was able to hit the switch without opening the gate. Once they got the incinerator going, all they had to do was ball up the shirt and toss it in.
Hey, come on! What the hell is this?
All you have to do is look at the scene to know that the killer never actually went inside the trash room. The shards of broken glass, the incinerator left running, the piece of shirt that escaped the fire. If the killer had been on cleaning duty, the evidence would have been taken care of much more thoroughly.
Yep.
Wait, no, just hold on.
But the distance from the gate to the incinerator has to be at least 30 feet, right? The pinpoint accuracy you'd need to throw a glass ball that far and hit something that small. Could someone really do that?
That's right. There's no way. It'd be impossible.
Are you sure about that?
Difficult, absolutely. Impossible? I don't think so. Because the killer is...
It wouldn't have been much of a challenge at all for the killer because... Ultimate baseball star!
Because the killer is the ultimate baseball star. Isn't that right, Leon?
Do you have any idea how stupid you sound right now?
A target 30 feet away would surely be little challenge for the ultimate baseball star.
You can't be serious. I'm not the killer! These goddamn shipper brains have got it all wrong, I'm telling you!
You sure about that?
You still won't admit it? Okay then.
Then why are you so big mad?
Makoto, go ahead and review the incident one more time to make his crime perfectly clear. And with that, we can end this.
Listen to me! What the hell do you mean, end this?
Say what you want, Leon. But all the questions have been answered. And the truth has been revealed. Now here's what happened.
The closing argument is about to begin. Would you like to hear more? Absolutely! Every case has one last element to bring a class trial to an end. This is closing argument. In this phase, you will complete a summary of the case. You will have to reproduce the flow of the events in the case in the form of a comic book, for some reason. However, you'll notice that in the comic there are a number of pieces missing. It's up to you to complete the comic using the provided truth panels. Also, if you take aim at a missing section and press the left mouse button, holy cow, you'll get a hint that might lead to a breakthrough. Well then, good luck and have fun. Closing argument. Okay, let's see. First one is probably meeting at the door. Sayaka's got a knife, they come in. She attack. Sword. Block with sword. Hit her with the sword. Oh. What? Right. That. Then she runs away, goes into the bathroom. Oh no, not that one. It's probably this one. No, that's a duplicate. I was right the first time. Nope. Get back there. Rattle the doorknob. So they get a screwdriver. Oh wait, maybe I'm ahead of myself. No, I'm not. Screwdriver. Then stab. She writes her name. She writes the name. She dies. Lint roller. They pick up the lint roller. Crystal ball. Ball up the shirt. Yeet it into the fire. And then itty bitty piece falls off.
The killer is you! I think I'd better take one more look back at the case from the beginning. Last night, the killer went to the room Sayaka was in. In other words, my room.
So we got that one right.
From what we can tell, Sayaka invited that person there intending to kill them.
He was like, yo, what?
She attacked them with the knife she'd taken from the kitchen earlier.
And he bumped into the sword.
But then something happened that she wasn't prepared for.
And he used it to block.
They grabbed the fake sword I put in my room and fought back.
Ah! He smacked her wrist.
Struggle, a strike from the sword broke Sayaka's right wrist. And that's when she lost her grip on the kitchen knife.
She runs into the
Finding
bathroom.
herself cornered, Sayaka panicked and ran into the bathroom.
Rattle, rattle.
The killer went after her, but couldn't get the bathroom door open.
Yep.
What they didn't know was that my bathroom door got stuck easily, and there was a trick to opening it. Sayaka knew about that because I told her, but of course the killer had no way of knowing.
So he got a screwdriver.
So instead, the killer forced the door open, took the kitchen knife.
He got a knife! Stab.
And stabbed Sayaka.
And that's when she wrote the name.
But with what strength she had remaining, Sayaka left a dying message. To keep the killer from noticing, she wrote it on the wall behind her.
And then she's dead.
And with that, all her strength was gone. With Sayaka dead, the killer quickly began destroying the evidence. First, they took off their shirt, which was covered in their victim's blood.
Yeah, lint roller.
Then they took the lint roller in my room and cleaned up the entire area. They wanted to make sure they got rid of any trace they'd ever been there. Afterwards, the killer headed to the trash room to destroy their bloody shirt. They tried to burn the shirt using the incinerator there, but the trash room was blocked off by an especially sturdy gate, preventing access to the incinerator.
Crystal ball!
So they came up with a plan to use Hiro's crystal ball, which he left in the laundry room. The killer managed to throw the ball through the gap in the gate and hit the incinerator switch. For any normal person, that'd be an impossible throw. But the killer had the confidence to take a shot, and that's because the killer was the ultimate baseball star.
So he hit the switch.
The crystal ball, thrown with absolute precision, hit the switch on the incinerator.
The crystal ball also apparently made the sound of pottery when it shattered, despite it being glass and not making a glass noise.
Which then quickly roared to life. Having destroyed the final piece of evidence, they left the area with, I imagine, a sigh of relief.
What noise would a solid glass ball make shattering? I don't know. It just certainly would not sound like pottery.
But there was one thing they missed.
Tiny shirt piece!
Part of the shirt they'd thrown into the fire burnt away and fell out of the incinerator. The killer didn't notice this, and so left behind a piece of indisputable evidence.
Ba-boom!
Isn't that right, Leon? It would appear that Hiro simply forgot his crystal ball in the laundry room. You went there to try and wash the blood out of your shirt, and that's where you saw it, right? Seeing the ball, you thought of a way to take care of everything.
So, Leon, do you object to anything that's been said?
He can be
Do I
big
object?
mad.
Hell yes, I object! Of course I do! I object! I object! I object! I mean, all of this is just a bunch of stupid theories! You need evidence! Where's the evidence? Without evidence, it's all bullshit! It's bullshit and I refuse to acknowledge it!
Well then, I guess this is as good a time as any to present the evidence that proves you did it. Makoto, I believe you're in possession of that evidence?
I have the evidence. Your first bullet time battle is about to begin. Would you like to hear more? Absolutely. Oh, it's this. Sometimes during a class trial, your opponent simply won't hear what you have to say. When this happens, you will engage with them in a head-to-head battle. If you'd like to refer to this, we like to refer to this as bullet time battle, aka BTB, BT dub. During BTB, you want to destroy your opponent's statements in time with the rhythm. It's a rhythm game. Match your button presses with the tempo marker as they come across the screen and reach the center. Dots. Press the right mouse button to lock on to your opponent's statement. Destroy the statement that you locked onto with the left mouse button as the tempo marker reaches the center. Dots. Use the method to deal damage to your opponent. If you can't pull it off, you'll be the one in pain. Do this consistently and you'll start a combo. Keep this going and you'll initiate a tempo up. On the flip side, if you keep missing, you'll get into a tempo down situation. When the tempo changes, so does the timing of hitting each button, so watch out for that! Deal enough damage to your opponent and their weak spot statement will appear. At that point, you can press the left mouse button to shoot it down with the truth bullet like any other statement. Dots. Refute their statement fast enough and you will come out victorious. But just like before, if your influence gauge reaches 0, or you run out of time, you fail. Well then, good luck and have fun.
When the killer removed the screws from the doorknob, they didn't use anything from your room to do it. Instead, they must have used something that belonged to them.
Oh yeah, I hadn't thought... I completely forgot about the one truth bullet we haven't used. They used something of their own to remove the screws. Could it be have been...
You. You're stupid! Stupid, stupid, stupid! Stupid, 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 stupid!
Yeah? I have to show the indisputable evidence that Leon is the killer. I need to figure it out. Time for bullet time. The moment of truth!
Where's your proof? You kidding me? Not a chance! It wasn't me! Stupid! You lie! Stop talking! Shut up! Where's your proof? You kidding me? Not a chance! You lie! Shut up!
Tempo up.
Where's your proof? You kidding me? Not a chance! It wasn't me! Stupid!
Final strike! Toolkit!
This should prove it.
Ah!
The screws on the bathroom doorknob were removed. I wonder what kind of tool the killer used to remove that.
I mean, it had to be a screwdriver, right?
That's the only thing that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure the toolkits we got each had one inside.
That must be what he used. There aren't any other tools anywhere.
Besides, the screwdriver is a pretty standard tool you would get in any toolkit.
But the toolkit in my room had clearly never been used.
That's because the culprit didn't know it was your room. They thought they were in Sayaka's room.
Only the boys got toolkits, so the killer naturally assumed there wouldn't be one in there.
Yep.
Okay, then whose toolkit did the killer use?
Stupid, stupid, stupid!
Yeah?
It had to be their very own toolkit.
Stupid, 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 stupid!
Leon, would you mind showing us your toolkit? If I'm right about this, then the screwdriver will show some evidence of being used.
I mean, the frickin' shrink wrap would just be off to begin with.
Stupid, stupid, stupid!
Huh?
Or it wouldn't be intact.
And if you say you used it for something else, you'll have to explain exactly when, where, and why.
And let me say this right now.
Because Mondo said flat out, the rest of the guys have not used theirs, because there's been no need.
I lost it isn't an excuse at this point.
Stupid.
Stu, what are you doing? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Making chocolate pudding. Why are you making chocolate pudding? Because I've lost control of my life.
So, you have no rebuttal?
I mean, he's just been yelling stupid for the last, like, 5 minutes, so of course he doesn't.
Then it would seem we are finished here.
He's not having a good time anymore. Results. Straight A's. Woo! 80 Monokuma coins.
Looks like you've reached your verdict. Then are we ready to cast our votes?
Guess so.
You all have a lever in front of you. Use it to make your selection. Oh, just to remind you all, make triple sure you vote for someone. You wouldn't want to be punished for something so minor, right?
Dots.
Okay, then let's get excited! Who will be chosen as the Blackened? Will you make the right choice? Or the dreadfully wrong one?
What's it gonna be? What's it
gonna be? What's it gonna be?
Monokuma vote. For some reason, via form of slot machine. Vote guilty.
Uh-oh, looks like you got it right on the money. The Blackened in this case, the one that killed Sayaka, was none other than Leon Kawada.
He got nothing to say.
Huh? Hey, hold on.
Hold on a second. Leon, did you really kill Sayaka?
But I don't believe it.
You son of a bitch.
The hell is wrong with you?
I didn't have a choice.
What do you mean? It was kill or be killed.
So, that's why...
That's why I killed her first.
None of you are any different!
One wrong step and you'd be the one standing here. It was by complete chance that I wound up like this.
I was just... unlucky. That's all.
Okay.
Hey! Come on!
Do you expect me to accept my death? Dots. Everything has become clear. The decision we made was right after all. But when I think about that, honestly, I'd be better off if we'd been wrong. If what we came up with really is the truth, then that truth is that Sayaka was trying to frame me. But, so you'd rather everybody, including yourself, die than acknowledge that Sayaka was trying to frame you for murder. God, you're such a simp. Even if that's true, I can't say she was wrong. After all, the mastermind. It's all because of that video. Yeah! Even I couldn't handle what I saw there. If I was her, the video actually had something to do with me. I can't even imagine. What about your family, Makoto? You remember them?
Now we're trapped here, with no way out. They're probably waiting for me. Why? I can't afford to be stuck in here.
The one thing that was more important to her than anything else, her dreams, her friends. To have to see something like that happen to them. They're just laying on the floor, bruh. You don't even know if they're dead or not. And Sayaka...
I did whatever it took to reach that dream. I mean it, even some things that weren't so pleasant.
And that's why Sayaka, for the friends that meant so much to her, that's why she betrayed me. So, when she said,
No matter what happens,
Makoto,
please always be there for me. I need you on my side.
she lied. She was lying to me from the very beginning. She was using me. Is that why she talked to me in the first place? I mean, probably. I guess I'll never know. Because there's nothing I can do to ask her what she was thinking. Once you're dead, that's it.
Boy howdy, the entertainment industry must sure be terrifying, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, to try and kill someone just because of those relationships. She seemed so nice and lovely on the outside, but inside, she descended into pure madness.
What did you say?
I I understand, really. I do. Yep. You're in utter despair, thanks to Sayaka's betrayal, right?
Zetsuboshita.
Compassion, intimacy, love. The stronger those feelings, the stronger the despair when they collapse.
Stop screwing with us. This is all your fault. Sayaka being forced to do something like that. All of it. Everything. It's all your fault. Suddenly in a frenzy, I lunged at Monokuma, but...
That's enough.
Hey, Kyoko. As angry as I was, Kyoko latched onto my arm without hesitation. Her grip was like iron, strong enough that I'm sure it would leave a bruise.
Calm down.
That's also because you're probably pretty squishy, Makoto. If you really want to make her enemies pay for what they've done... Whoops. You need to let it go for now. Dots. Damn it.
Ah, that was close. I thought you were gonna give me a good walloping. Just barely avoided punishment, you did.
Yes, indeed.
Yoda.
Now then, since you so magnificently revealed the identity of the killer during the class trial, the blackened Leon Kawada will receive his punishment.
Punishment?
Yup.
You mean execution?
Execution.
Wait a second!
I didn't have a choice. I had to kill her.
Yeah, that's it.
I was just protecting myself in the heat of the moment. It was self-defense.
Is that okay?
How exactly was it self-defense? When you forced your way into the bathroom, did you or did you not use your very own toolkit? After she shut herself in the bathroom, you went out of your way to head back to your own room. Then you came all the way back, broke into the bathroom and killed her. Am I wrong?
Do you understand?
You had any number of chances to stop what you were doing, but you chose not to. Is it not because you had an unclouded intent to commit murder?
So, that's why...
No, that's not. Stop it. I've had enough of this.
Oh,
Are you sure? You were closer to her than anyone, were you not? You killed your precious Sayaka. Do you understand? I can't say Leon is solely to blame. Of course, I don't plan on blaming Sayaka either, because the one to blame is him!
So what?
If it weren't for you, this never would have happened to Sayaka or Leon. We shouldn't be fighting each other. We should be fighting against the one who put us in this situation, the mastermind.
Unbelievable.
Except you have no idea who that is, and no way to find out who that is. So...
Uh-oh, did I awaken your sense of justice? Well, it just so happens that there's nothing more unethical than an unwavering sense of justice. After all, it's the people with that sort of mentality that perpetuate war all over the world.
I hate that I can't say he's wrong, because people do think that their sense of justice is correct.
Is that the kind of justice that awakened within you?
I don't think so. Just shut up.
Okay, well, anyway, more importantly...
Chills, kills!
Let's hurry up and get to what everyone's been waiting for, the punishment!
I'm begging you! Please, don't do this!
Too late.
Hey!
No more begging, no more excuses! You must pay the penalty for breaking the rules! Society demands it!
Stop, please!
Now then, I prepared a very special punishment!
For Leon Kawada, the ultimate baseball star!
No!
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
No!
How loud he coming? Game over. Leon has been found guilty. Time for the punishment. These cutscenes are always fun. 1,000 blows! Ah, the irony. What we saw. That was the face of despair. I told y'all there's a reason for the despair counter. I mean, if we can't call it that, what else could we call it?
Extreme!
Man, my adrenaline is pumping right out of control!
Hifumi noises. What's going on?
I can't take it.
Yeah, everybody says that a lot.
Do we really have to keep doing this? I just can't take it. Well, hey, if you don't like it, all you gotta do is swear to cut all ties with the outside world and accept living here forever. But that's only if every single one of you can get on board with that.
Maniacal laugh.
Damn you!
What the hell are you doing all of this evil shit to us?
What the heck?
Evil? You make it sound like I'm some dark, awful, secret society type of guy.
What?
Or in that case, a dark, awful, secret society type of bear.
Well...
Why are you putting an upstanding young citizen like me through such grueling ordeal?
Hey,
It seems like you're trying to use some common sense to make sense of something that doesn't make sense. It's like you're trying to put a mile on a scale. I just don't think it's possible. Hey, I don't think you're saying what I'm saying quite fit together.
Shit.
Piece of crap. I don't know who you are, but I'm gonna pound you into the ground.
You must really hate me to get so angry, huh? But if you do that, you're barking way up the wrong tree. What happened because more than one of you decided you wanted to get out, right? No matter how much time passes, you can't cut free from your regrets from the outside world. You're to blame.
Of course we can't cut free from the outside world, being trapped in this insane place.
You're trapped, are you? Well, I'm sure once you learn all the mysteries of this school, your thinking will change for sure. You'll think, boy, isn't it wonderful we all get to live here forever?
What are you trying to say?
Hey.
I feel like there's some deeper meaning hidden in there. Just like before.
Thrills, chills, kills!
Anyway, let's get to the Blackened's punishment. That's what everyone is waiting for, after all.
Hey.
When you say everyone, who exactly are you referring to?
I'm sorry I said everything I've got to say. I need to save some of the fun for later.
Oh, he's gone. And just like that, he was gone. He left us there, overwhelmed by a nightmare turned reality. Everything is bad. Even after he was gone, we stood there forever, unable to move. Actually, no, it wasn't that long, I think. Everyone just lost their sense of time. We were all too scared. I mean, you did just watch a guy getting pummeled to death by baseballs, so that's kind of understandable. Scared of being alone. And Taka noises. Mondo noises. And Said Chihiro noises. No one even tried to speak. Their faces were stone, their voices dead. But it was in that moment.
Just a second.
Makoto, can I talk to you for a second? She moved in close and whispered into my ear.
Makoto.
Before we head back, There's something I want to talk to you about. Dots. It's about Sayaka, isn't it? Dots. I'm surprised you figured it out.
Listen.
I told you before the class trial started. You had to figure out the mystery of this case yourself. You wanted me to realize how Sayaka betrayed me by myself, didn't you? Thought never would have crossed my mind. I feel like such a fool becoming such an easy target like that. Yeah, you're a pretty easy target because you're kind of stupid.
It's true.
Sayaka meant to double-cross you. That's a fact that you can never change. But even until the very end, she wasn't sure of her decision. That's why, as she lay dying, she was thinking of you. She was thinking of me? You can't say something like that. I mean, there's no way you could know that. Only Sayaka would know for sure, and we can't ask her now.
However...
Even if you can't ask her, you can infer it, don't you think? Her final thought was how she could protect you. What?
So...
The fact that she used her last ounce of energy to leave her dying message proves it. She didn't care what happened to If she didn't care what happened to you, she never would have left that message. Well, maybe she just wanted to get back at the person who killed her.
Certainly.
That's certainly one possibility, but I don't think that's what it was.
Anyway...
She was uncertain. She wasn't sure if she could kill someone or deceive you, which is why her plan failed. Her hesitation attracted failure.
Right.
It's almost ironic when you think about it. Dots. Why are you telling me all this? Because you're the kind of person who can overcome this. Because you can move past the deaths of your friends, Sayaka and Leon, to keep moving forward. Again, ignoring the fact that Junko's dead too, but whatever. Without someone like that, the others would never be able to break free from such desperate situation. Move past their deaths? I could never do that. Dots. No. I'm going to carry them for the rest of my life. How could I possibly move past something like that? Leon, Sayaka. I'll carry them with me forever. But not Junko, because apparently we don't care that she died too. I'll carry their memories with me wherever I go. Dots. So instead of forgetting them, you're choosing the hard road. Well, I have high expectations for you. As she said that, she revealed the smallest smile.
Hey.
By the way, I have to admit, I'm curious. How did you know I wanted to talk to you about Sayaka? Oh, haha, here comes a joke. Oh, well, Dots. I'm psychic.
What?
Huh? Kidding. I just have pretty good intuition. Haha. Chapter 1, To Survive. The end. Surviving students 12. To be continued. You received the Despair Bat present. Save data? Yep. Well, we're gonna save it here, because the trial has been almost 2 hours. Like, subscribe, and all that noise. I'll see you in the next one, folks. Later.
Boop, boop, boop.